Good morning, all of you. Last time we had discussed the solutions of economic problems in different economic systems. Now chapter 6 is not in your syllabus, so we are starting with chapter 7, that is parameters or indicators of development. Now what do we mean by parameters or indicators of development? Now by economic development we basically mean a term that tells us about the standard of living of people in a country, the per capita income, the extent of employment opportunities, the level of unemployment, and the total amount of status of that country. Now, how do we measure development? Now, there are different indicators of measuring development. Another indicator that we have in our syllabus is Human Development Index. So, we don't have to study about per capita income or the limitations of per capita income index. All this is not in our syllabus. Even the quality of life index is not in our syllabus. So we come directly to the human development index. That what do we mean by human development index, which is used as a tool or a parameter of development. Human development index is defined as the process of widening people's choices as well as raising the level of well-being achieved. Now, according to this concept, the purpose of development is to enlarge human choices. Obtaining income is certainly one of the main means of expanding choices and well-being, because when people are going to earn more, their purchasing power rises, and with the help of that, they can get nutritious food, better clothing, health facilities, education, which is going to widen their choices. So, concept of human development goes far beyond the income choice and well-being. There are many other choices such as education and literacy, health, physical environment, political freedom like freedom of movement and speech, gender-related developments, and political and economic participation in decision making and political power. So these choices are as important as income choice. Traditionally, economic development focused on just one thing, that was income, that if people's earning capacity rises, development will take place. But Human Development Index defines the concept of development, or is a parameter of measuring development, in a different manner, which takes all these things into consideration, which talks about widening the choices of people by giving them better health facilities, better physical environment, literacy, freedom of participation in political decisions and economic participation. So to sum up, the main propositions of the concept of human development are: firstly, human development views people and the quality of life as the center of development. The main part that they are, or the main point on which they are focusing, is human beings and not just income. People are not just the instruments for producing commodity, but they are the ones who occupy the center stage. Human Development Index emphasizes on development of human beings by putting people at the center stage of development, by making progress more equitable and broad-based, by enabling people to be active participants in the change. Secondly, human development is the end of all activities, while economic growth is only a means to this end. According to this parameter, that is Human Development Index, it is not the economic growth that is the end or objective that we are trying to achieve. According to this objective, it is human development that we are trying to achieve. So this is the end, and economic growth is the means to achieve it. Thirdly, the purpose of economic development is to widen all choices of people, that may be related to education, or that may be related to political freedom or movement of speech or gender related freedom. So it talks about widening all these choices. Fourthly, human development is concerned with widening not merely income choices, but covering all aspects of human development, that is economic, social, cultural or political, and human development embraces the entire society, not just the economy. Fifthly, human development is universal in nature. It is not concerned in development of human beings in some parts of the world, but it applies equally to less developed as well as highly developed countries. So now we come to construction of Human Development Index, how this index is constructed. Since 1990, various human development reports have been presented Human Development Index, to capture a number of aspects of human development, is one composite index. So basically there are three dimensions involved in Human Development Index which helps in measuring the human development. So the composite Human Development Index is the measure of average achievement of a country in three basic dimensions of human development, and these three basic dimensions are a long and healthy life, to acquire knowledge, to have a decent standard of living. So Human Development Index attempts to measure at least some more choices besides income, and to discuss them, these three variables, first thing that we have is a long and healthy life. Now how do we measure a long and healthy life? That is measured by life expectancy at birth. By life expectancy we mean the average number of years that an individual is expected to live in a country, that when a new infant is born, on an average how much is he expected to live. So that is going to tell us the extent of long and healthy life. Secondly, the ability to acquire knowledge is measured by combination of two variables. One is mean years of schooling, that is average number of years of school education received by people aged 25 and above, and secondly, expected years of schooling, that is number of years of schooling that a child of a school entrance age can expect to receive. Now we come to the third dimension, that is a decent standard of living. How do we measure this? A decent standard of living is measured by a country's gross domestic product, or GDP, per capita, which is adjusted for purchasing power parity in terms of US dollars. So for an international comparison of GDP, one has to convert the values of different currencies into a standard currency, which is generally being taken to US dollar, and from that we ascertain that if this is the per capita income of an individual in a country, what will be the standard of living of that country. Because the per capita income, which is the average income of an individual, will help us decide that what will be the purchasing power of that individual. So if purchasing power will be high, that person will be able to acquire the basic necessities of life and comforts also with it, the standard of living will be high. But if the per capita will be low, purchasing power will be low, then these people will not be able to acquire the comforts. With great difficulty they will be acquiring the basic necessities of life, and the standard of living will be low. So these three dimensions help us in constructing the Human Development Index: a long and healthy life, to acquire knowledge, and to have a decent standard of living. So wherein a long and healthy life, we were talking about life expectancy. It is also related to the health facilities in a country. Life expectancy in those countries are good where the nutritional levels and the health facilities are better. Then again, the ability to acquire knowledge also, along with mean years of schooling and expected years of schooling, depends upon the number of educational institutions in a school and in how many different areas these facilities are available. And a decent standard of living, as we discussed, depends upon the per capita income of an individual in that country. So it is the standard practice to convert the currencies of different countries into US dollars for international comparison, so that we can compare the per capita of one country with the per capita of another country. So these three indicators reflecting three basic choices are used to prepare three basic indices, that are Life Expectancy Index LEI, Education Attainment Index EAI, Adjusted Gross Domestic Product Index AGDPI. So how are we going to prepare them? So while preparing a composite HDI, we face the problem that there is no common measure of the three dimensions of human development. As one is measuring life, other is measuring the extent of education, and other is measuring the adjusted gross domestic product. So life expectancy is generally measured in years, adult literacy and gross enrollment ratio are measured in percentage, and real income is measured in adjusted purchasing power parity. So in order to reduce these indicators to a common indicator, because there is no common unit in them. So what we are going to do to reduce them to a common indicator, the actual progress in each indicator is measured as relative distance from a desired goal, that is maximum and minimum observed or expected values for each of these three indicators. So to construct the Human Development Index, fixed minimum and maximum values have been established for each of these three indicators, and this is the formula that we are going to compute the index for each one of them. Actual value minus minimum value upon maximum value minus minimum value. So Human Development Index is the geometric mean of normalized indices of each of the three dimensions of human development, that is long and healthy life, to acquire knowledge, and a decent standard of living. So performance of a country in each of these indicators is expressed as a value between 0 and 1, and each country would be at some point between 0 and 1 for each of these three indicators. Equal importance is given to all the three dimensions, taking the simple average of the three indices, that is life expectancy index, education attainment index, and ADGPI, that is adjusted gross domestic product index. As a composite measure of health, education and income, the HDI assesses level and progress using a concept of development much broader than that allowed by income alone. Coming to the evaluation of Human Development Index now. Human Development Index is basically a new approach to the study of problem of economic development, and it has impacted the policy formulation and economic thought process also. So the concept of human development has been incorporated in various annual human development reports of UNDP, and it has led to publication of more than 600 national human development reports in various countries including India. This human development approach has profoundly affected an entire generation of policy makers in policy formulations relating to economic development. Human Development Index is widely used these days, particularly by international agencies like UNDP, to show the average achievement of an economy in the economic and social sector. So what are the main merits of Human Development Index? The main merits of Human Development Index are as follows. First of all, the major significance of this index is that it has combined economic and social indicators. So it is a multi-dimensional index. That is, it is not neglected the economic part of all. It is not neglecting the economic part also of it, and has taken into consideration the social factors like life expectancy and education indicators which were earlier neglected. Secondly, it is a comprehensive measure to compare and to measure development than the per capita income, because per capita income was just economic indicator, whereas Human Development Index is economic as well as social indicator. Thirdly, HDI has greatly increased our understanding of what constitutes development and which countries are really experiencing development. That is, countries only improving on the economic part and socially where no improvement is taking place cannot be regarded to be completely developed. So this index has thrown light on that concept, that we can understand that which countries are actually developing. Fourthly, it focuses the attention of the policy makers also on the objective of development, that we have to bring about comprehensive or overall development where the policy should be framed in such a manner that improvement can be brought about even in social areas of education and health along with economic improvement. So however, HDI has captured only a few dimensions of human development, and it cannot be treated as a comprehensive index because it is based on only 3 variables. Moreover, initially the HDI concentrated on national HDI only. It didn't draw a comprehensive disaggregated HDI by region, gender, race or ethnic group. It was just considering the entire nation and not taking these points into consideration, that there can be discrepancies on part of Human Development Index by region, by gender, by race. But in recent years, UNDP has started constructing HDIs as Human Poverty Index and Gender Related Development Index so as to reflect inequalities among different individuals and between men and women with regard to life expectancy, knowledge and standard of living, which is very important as such, because in certain countries where people have a lot of resources, or these countries are considered to be developed in terms of economic indicators, but if we see the condition of women over there, they are not enjoying equal rights. So when a particular section of the society is not getting the rights which other section of the society is getting, we cannot term that to be development. So HDI is concentrating and focusing on such areas also. It has started disaggregating the country's overall HDI into separate components to distinguish between different social castes, to see that how much development is taking place in different castes. in different regions, that what are the disparities region wise to measure the development and different ethnic groups. Moreover, UNDP has also started taking into consider additional dimensions of human development like political and economic participation in decision making power. People belonging to different regions, different caste, are they allowed to equally participate in decision making? Are they allowed to take decisions while some political decisions are being taken? Is their view counted? Even gender wise, this thing is being taken into consideration. So HDI is now improving more and more than before because of the efforts taken by UNDP. Now we come to Human Development Index in India. As pointed above, the UNDP has been compiling HDI for a large number of countries, and for which it is able to gather the requisite data, about 189 countries, and we have used the same three indices to measure this, that is life expectancy index, educational attainment index, and adjusted GDP per capita index and composite HDI. So it ranks countries on a scale of 0, lowest human development index, to 1, highest human development index. So UNDP has been ranking the countries into 4 groups. First one being very high human development index, 0.800 or more, which is present in countries like Norway, Australia, Japan and New Zealand. Second one being high human development index, which ranges between 0.7 but less than 0.8, which is countries like China and Sri Lanka. Third one being medium human development index, which is between 0.550 to 0.699 HDI, in countries like India, Indonesia, Egypt and South Africa lie in the medium human development index. And fourth one, lastly, being the low human development index, less than 0.550 HDI, countries such as Nigeria, Uganda and Afghanistan. So these groups have been made and the ranking have been done on the basis of the three indices of life expectancy, educational attainment and adjusted GDP per capita. So Human Development Report of 2019 has calculated HDI values for different countries on uniform basis by using a particular method at an interval of 5 years since 1980s, and gives information with regard to the values of HDI for India also since 1980. So we can see the value of HDI in India has been increasing, whereas in 1980 it was just 0.6369, it went up to 0.431 in 1990, then 0.497 to 2000. In 2010 it was recorded as 0.581, 2015 at 0.627, 2016 0.637, 2017 0.643 and 2018 0.647. So from this table we can draw the inferences that HDI is improving continuously in India since 1980, and India is in the category of the medium human development index countries since 1990. So we have been making progress and development, as a lot of measures have been taken to improve education as well as health measures in the country. Thirdly, on the basis of this table, we can say that for the year 2018, out of 189 countries of which UNDP has computed HDI, India ranks 129, and India climbed 6 rank points from 135 in 2013 to 129 in 2018. As compared to most of the developed countries having HDI for 2018, ranging between 0.880 and 0.954, India has a much lower HDI if we compare it to the high HDI countries, that is 0.647. However, India has performed much better than most of comparable countries in terms of average annual HDI growth rate since the last decades. Then fifthly, as compared to some of the other developing countries, India ranks better when we compare it to countries like Pakistan, Nepal, Bangladesh and Nigeria. They have lower HDI than India, but a number of other developing countries such as Thailand, Brazil, Philippines, Sri Lanka, China, South Africa and Indonesia have higher HDI than India. Sixthly, there has been significant improvement in all components of HDI, increase in life expectancy, mean years of schooling by adults and expected years of schooling, and real GDP per capita. For example, life expectancy in India increased from 57.9 years in 1990 to 69.4 years in 2018, and similarly per capita GDP also increased from $1740 in 1990 to $7680 in 2018. The expected years of schooling has also increased from 7.6 years in 1990 to 12.3 years in 2018. Thus, while India's HDI increased by 50% between 1990 and 2018, life expectancy increased by 20%. Gross national per capita income increased by 2.62% and expected years of schooling increased by 4.7%. However, India has a long way to improve human development. The existing gap is health and education indicators between India and developed countries, and many developed countries highlight the need for much faster and wider spread basic health and education. So we can see India's position in global HDI in 2018. So here this shows us the human development index of highly developed nations, a little less than that developing ones, and again the developing ones where India is also there in it at number 129, and there are countries which are ranking less than India also. So we had made considerable improvement according to UNDP in terms of human development index. Now with this we come to the end of this chapter, children. Your homework for chapter will be, first of all, question number 1, first of all, question number 10, mention 3 indicators used for measuring the 3 basic choices in HDI. That is the very short answer, question number 10. Very short answer, question number 12 and 13. And very short answer, question number 14 and 16. So these questions along with just one question more, that is the long answer, question number 3. Thank you.